Good morning, and welcome to the First UU Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. At this time, we ask that our online participants mute their microphones until coffee hour. And now, please rise in body, voice, or spirit, and join me in singing our opening hymn, 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Words will be in your gray hymnal and posted on the internet, but not here today. However, you all have your gray hymnals, so let's sing. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Creates our denomination. We have no creed or doctrine, teaching rather that all individuals have the right and the responsibility to discern and follow their own spiritual paths. We come together to support and assist one another on our journeys and to build our beloved congregation together. I do invite you to stay after the service to greet one another and to rejoice in our mutual presence. We'll open up microphones on Zoom for coffee hour, and folks here in person, of course, are welcome to greet one another and those joining us electronically as well. June 20th through 26th is Pollinator Week. The Indiana Community Garden is having a family-friendly party on Saturday afternoon from 6:30 to 8 p.m. with games, crafts, demonstrations, and food celebrating pollinators and their
tonight this challenge played in honor of the animal health, bird and close to four-legged animals. May we remember that all animals and now, if you'll rise in body, voice, or spirit, and join me in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
I hate that.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. It's like your belly's hanging out. Spirit of life, come to sing my heart. Rise in the sea, moving on, giving life the shape of justice, whose holy rose wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me. What brings the order? Come to me.
Our responsive reading today on animal companionship asks that guests give responses. And the first three are simply, we give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. And as we come to the last response, you have a picture of or if you are on Zoom and have a companion animal who is sharing the screen with you, please share it with the other members of the congregation as we bless our beloved companions.
It's kind of, yeah.
Ours is a world alive with the presence of creatures and critters. Animals abound, interwoven our human lives and wholly intercessions. For animal in our lives and on this earth. Some of us have known animals who have saved our very lives. Sometimes this is metaphor, sometimes it is literal fact. For many of us, we are better human animals because we have known animals as part of our spirit. We give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth.
Okay.
Animals are not
The sound from me.
the capacity to defend and to kill. All show proper respect for this kind of life. We give thanks for this earth. We bless all animals. We bless those we know and love. We bless those unknown to us who have benefited our lives. We bless even the ones who can harm us affirming with humility their place in the interdependent web. We affirm the impulse for humans to live in right relation with all other animals on this earth. May we honor our best presence as part of the human family and the animal family as well. We now invite you to pass the sign of peace with one another, and especially to anyone you haven't met before or haven't seen recently. If you are on Zoom, you may type blessings, namaste, peace be with you in the chat bar.
Planning peace. Oh, great. We'll use it. I can't, we got kid rescue going on.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. Good morning, peace, guys. Now. Oh, yeah.
Our UU moment this morning is about the UU Animal Ministry. The UU Animal Ministry was founded several years ago, and their description of themselves reads, "We are a diverse group of Unitarian Universalists who aim to broaden the circle of compassion to include marginalized groups of people as well as non-human animals. We include church clergy, lay leaders, social justice activists, and spiritual seekers. Many of us are involved at the local level in UU Animal Ministry chapters or in various kinds of animal rescue and advocacy. The purposes are to serve as a central source of non-human animal awareness and education for Unitarian Universalists by relating the religious and spiritual aspects of our tradition to justice and ethical issues. To provide a community to support one another. Whether we are undertaking personal changes in our everyday choices or engaging in advocacy for non-human animals, we cannot do this work alone. We need one another. To promote and support justice-making efforts for non-human animals within congregations and within the Unitarian Universalist Association as a whole. The UU Animal Ministry can be contacted through the UUA's website, and they are always interested in communicating with people and getting more people involved in this ministry, which of course particularly celebrates the seventh principle. And we will now remind ourselves of the seventh principle and all the others by reading our UU principles in unison. They, for those who are here, they're inside the front page of your order of service. We covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part.
And now our centering words. We look to the north, seeing hardy caribou, noble elk, the wolf rolling in the snow, the salmon struggling upstream to spawn, the deer whisking his tail with elegance. We look to the south to watch the alligator measuring the pond, the armadillo turning his armor to the world, the wings of a pelican, wood stork, heron, catching the low, warm air streams. To the west, the rim-eyed panda, the yak, the kiwi, a koala nestled in the fork of a blue gum tree, the take charge kangaroo and wallaby leaping to attention, balancing the world on thick tails. The red earth of the east is the setting for a stately parade of giraffes, elephants, gazelles, fringed lion, svelte tiger, portly hippo, all staking a claim for their home on the continent. We look nearer to home and glimpse the curious Persian cat, the faithful Labrador, the regal thoroughbred horse, content goldfish, clever hamsters, the reptile appreciating friendship. As we finish taking inventory, we send up a prayer of thanksgiving for all these blessed animals who reflect all of creation and who share with us this air, this water, this dust. During our centering music, if you have joys or sorrows you would like spoken aloud, you may write them in chat online or on a note card from your order of service and place it in the basket in the sanctuary, where it will be woven into our shared pastoral prayer. Well, we may have meditated silence. Anyway. We now offer a time of silence, during which you are invited to come forward to light a candle of intention or place a stone representing a joy, a sorrow, a concern, or a celebration in your life. If you have not already done so, you may hand your written joy or sorrow to a worship leader as you light your candles.
Let us join our hearts and minds together now in the spirit of prayer, spirit of light and of love. We gather together to share in community these milestones of our living. Lenny reports joy in finding a nurturing part-time job at a plant nursery. For the blessings of our lives, may we be truly grateful. For the beauty of the earth, the changing seasons, and the flowing gift of life, may we give thanks. In times of fragile hearts and tender sorrows, may we find comfort and strength. May our hearts be healed, and may we be filled with peace. Amen.
And now, at First UU Church of Indiana, we share the plate by giving a portion of each week's donations to an organization outside of the church. This is part of our congregation's mission to promote compassionate and responsible thought and action in the world by giving back to the community around us each and every week. So when you give this morning, Know that you are making an impact not only for this congregation, but in the wider community through our shared giving. Our congregational giving this month benefits Sisters PGH. So Sisters Pittsburgh is a Black and trans-led nonprofit organization serving queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, people of color, trans, and non-binary folks within Southwestern Pennsylvania. They offer services for trans and gender non-conforming people, which include things like transitional housing, a drop-in community space, groups for trans and gender non-conforming youth and adults, assistance with legal name and gender changes, and much more. This donation is not only a way to live into our values here, but also a part of our commitment to living the welcoming congregation, a renewal each year of our congregation's awareness of trans, queer, and gay inclusion, and a celebration of healthy sexuality and expansive gender identity. As a congregation, we are glad to give both within and beyond our walls. So please give generously as you are able, as we share in singing our offertory hymn.
402 from you, I receive.
402 from
I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you for your support of the beloved community. And now we're going to use a technique that we used a month or so ago in another sharing service of having the congregation here in the sanctuary today divide into groups of 3, which interestingly enough, it looks like we've got 3 people, 3 people, 3 people, and 3 people, and you have a few minutes to talk to each other about animals whose presence you have found a blessing in one way or another. And then after those small group discussions, I'll ring the bell, and you can share with the wider congregation. I'm also asking our tech people to gather together our online participants into a small group and also make it possible for them to share with larger group after our discussion. So draw your chairs together a little bit.
How many did she have? Yeah. So my parents said they sell to the dog dash because when the puppies came out, oh, that one looks like that dog, and that dog, and that dog. You know, in 1950, my dad, I think especially a lot of oh, he didn't. Client in the office, some legal work. And the guy said, the guy said, I gotta do something about this kid that our house. Neighbors. Until a friend of my mother's and her teachers, about a year old, twins like this cat. Yelling at me with me. This cat is like kids. And it's like, how 6, 9, and 12 years. So the understanding was and all of us, there's some. Yes. Now I'm yeah, I'm getting some work this started because Jim is and in the process of delivering, she kept coming across workers and trailer parks and towns and stuff. After a couple of years ago, she said to me, she tried out traffic and understand, like, I'll tell you how to do it. She gave a break actually, brought in some of the other she's out there, she's building regular hotel now. There's Dennis Gray, nice guy, branched off and became a slum with his teenage and they walked in a hotel, walked across the street, Randy says she Section 8. No, your neighbors got, we didn't have it. And so, like 5 or 6 inches there. So, I mean, this. So she asked for help. This club traps. Jenny and Donna, I asked, she doesn't she says, well, what's her my office? She's like, it's your okay. Freshman showed them all someday, like we're so now she's saying, oh, it's okay. You're all talking about be careful what you mention. That's right now. We got 15. She just so if you know of anybody, get a hold of me. And now we got the NEC
Socialization.
Socialization.
She's very.
She is, and they need intense socialization. And just maybe we just pay them. Yes.
I know a little bit about it. I've been around a little bit.
I saw this file.
Okay.
Well, Bonnie still does like that. Because I took one down. Just
we actually had yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they think they're big dogs. They think we're big dogs.
We're coming back to the main side. Yeah.
Shared experience. Yeah.
They're small.
I have a question.
First we talked about, actually, we talked more about dogs, we have 3 cat people do, but of course, and the dogs that we had in our early lives. But inevitably, we turned to cats. And the blessings that they have been in our lives, but then we also really shifted to the work that Faye and Don have been involved in, more Faye, I guess, than Don, but still. The SNP, Faye and leader clinics and stuff, and what a blessing that is in those cats' lives. So maybe humans being blessings in the cats' lives. So that was pretty cool, because that is important work, we all know that. So,
I wanted to add that in my family, as a little kid growing up, the first animal we had was a dog. That was sort of how we got going on this. Tina thought that was funny with this cat lady. Started out with a dog. I was about 2, and in those days, people weren't real good about getting their animals spayed and neutered really fast. And so this 2-year-old, dog has to go out. So she let Bessie out. Bessie came back, and 63 days later, my parents could tell who all the baby daddies were because, she had, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 puppies. And, oh yeah, must have been that daddy and that daddy and that daddy and that daddy. Because I didn't learn till much later when I was an adult that cats and dogs are copulatory ovulators, which means with each act, they produce an egg. And so if it's the same boy dog or boy cat over and over again, then you've got one daddy for the litter. Otherwise, in my case, we had everybody from, I think Don's little brother did the same thing at their house. So, Oh, and we met because of cats. For a lot of you know the story, but 20 years ago, Don and I met back in the days when you didn't tell people you were dating online. We used Match.com, and I saw him the first day I looked on him before I was even a member. There was this guy whose name was Catman Don, and I thought I gotta know this story. That's how it started. That was 20 years ago. So now I'm involved locally with a bunch of people. I've been involved for years with Four Footed Friends Animal Shelter, and not so much a volunteer as it was writing checks to help them, but that's the Spay Neuter Indiana pet population. Spay Neuter clinic that is mostly uses a mobile van and is mostly down at the Coral Grayston Fire Hall. But the other group, one that's become really big in the area in the last few years, is CAN, Cat Aid Network, based out of Blairsville, and it does a lot of stuff that the shelters won't do. It is an at-home foster-based group, and so anyhow, Pat Kenworthy, a lot of you know Pat, and Jenny Burry, and a couple other people, and we've been involved doing a lot of kitten rescue, trying to socialize them from feral moms. If we get them early enough, we can get them socialized and placed, and we don't place them until they've been spayed and neutered. And so we're able to place them when they're like 10, 12 weeks old. So if anybody needs any, we've got them all the time. Right now, we've got 15 on tap. They're not old enough to go out yet, but we've been busy doing this for about 2 years.
The thing about dogs is it's like when you have a furry friend in your heart and they really love you, they want to take care of you. But cats, on the other hand, is way more different from dogs because cats are way more a little bit lazier than dogs. But when you call dogs names, they're like, ooh, what's that? Cats are like, I'm tired, goodbye. And when you try to hold the cat, they just walk away from you. It's like really rude.
Ezra, have you ever lived with cats?
Yes, in our own.
No, have you ever owned your own cats?
Well,
That's a yes or a no question.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, come to my house sometime, you'll see the stories different than what you have in your head.
Cats and they come to the call.
Yeah, we can get them to come when we call their names.
So my Aunt Nikki had a dog named Chopper. He was a Chihuahua, and he was pretty cute and really active because he was really funny. Once he followed the car when my Aunt Nikki was trying to go to Bible. Chopper went down the stairs. Well, one time, when my Aunt Nikki was living in Homer City, Chopper decided it was a good idea. He was walking the steps silly. He was very funny. Chopper, when someone was ringing the doorbell, he thought he was a big dog, and he jumped up and down like he always did. He tried to look out the window like it would work. And my Aunt Chelsea had a dog named Luca. He passed away because he had Lyme disease, and he was a very good dog, but he was afraid of doors. That was the thing why. And I remember that time when we took Luca, my mom picked up Luca, and he stuck his whole, he was a very big dog. He was 100 pounds. And he was a pit bull, and The one thing I remember is when the neighbor's dog he had a girlfriend as the neighbor's dog, and they had 12 puppies. So they named the 10th one Ken, but we named them Little Spaghetti. Meatballs and spaghetti. Well, I called them. I wanted to name them SpaghettiOs. SpaghettiOs and meatballs. That's my favorite. Yeah, and
Okay, that sounds like a good story. Thank you. Who else wants to share a story of animal blessings? Good.
I've had like 3 cats growing up. My first cat had like a weird name. It was like Inky something. But my dad would always feed it like real food. And we would tell him to stop. By the time like my cat had got like really sick and like passed. And then my second cat, it was like really bad because he was ferocious. He would like jump up on the couch and like scratch me. And for some reason, he still like would cuddle up with me when I was asleep. Yeah, like mixed emotions for some reason. And it got so bad to the point where we had to sell it to our neighbor. And then they sold it to their grandmother and stuff. Just kept going around. And then the last cat we had was named Cinderella. Like, I would go to the bathroom and just sitting there and like pooping the bathtub for no reason. It was a crazy cat. So we had to sell that one too.
In 2006, I went to the animal shelter about a year. This was about a year after my cat passed away, and I was in the cat section of Action for Animals in Latrobe, and they had this little dog there that was terrified in the cat section. Okay, I was there for a cat, was not there for a dog. Knew nothing about. I knew it was a Chihuahua. I knew really nothing how to raise a Chihuahua. But anyways, I decided to get this little dog out of its cage and in a little room, and hours later I ended up leaving this little dog. So this little dog is still alive. He's kind of a grumpy old man. He just knows. He probably spends more time sleeping right now than anything, but he has been with me through a lot of life. I have moved him across the country and back. And I have 2 dogs now, but I'm just talking about Cosmo. But yeah, just let everybody know that with Chihuahuas, if you do get one, it's important to socialize them so they're not meeting other people, like Jess. And also they live a very long time. So anyways.
I know you might talk about.
I suppose I'm talking about my cat. I got a cat during the pandemic. And he is lovely and adorable and also full of mischief. I think one of my favorite things about cats is that they're this lesson in consent and training and all of it. Like, dogs kind of just do whatever you want to do. Cats definitely, if they're not into it, they will let you know. So for me, it feels more like an equitable relationship. He decides when he's ready to get petted. But the other thing that I have just noticed since getting a cat is that having an animal helps you slow down and breathe and take space, because animals co-regulate with whoever else is in the house. So if you're stressed,
they're stressed. If you come home and stomp around, they're gonna bite your ankles and remind you not to do that. But he cuddles up quite a lot. It gives me that extra moment of like, all right, I'm leaving the house. You got your keys, got your wallet, pet the cat for a moment. And it just gets you ready for the next thing. Animals are pretty lovely like that.
Yes, I think my own experience, having known and been responsible for a lot of different animals, ranging from hamsters through cats and dogs and up to horses, is that because they apprehend the world in such a different way, they can teach us how to approach the world differently and how to enter into or attempt to enter into the mind and the way of life. As Randall Jarbold said about horses specifically, something of a different size and order of being. And I think that that is a very valuable window into a personal experience of the interdependent web of life. And now for our closing words.
Right. So our closing words come from Albert Schweitzer. They're a prayer for animals. And Sarah, who put together this service, found them on a bookmark from June 7th, 1998, the third annual Animal Appreciation Service of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana County, from the young people of our church. Hear our humble prayer, O God, for our friends the animals, especially for those who are suffering, for any that are lost or deserted or frightened or angry or hungry. We entreat for them all thy mercy and pity, and for all those who deal with them, we ask a heart of compassion and gentle hands and kindly words. Make us ourselves to be true friends to animals and to share the blessing of the merciful. And now, if our technology will cooperate, we'll all join in singing our closing hymn. It's number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. And if it doesn't cooperate, we're going to go a cappella, and you can join me on the hallelujahs. So. The creatures of the earth and sky, come, children, lift your voices high. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Swift rushing winds so wild and strong,
rejoice. High stars all beating on the horn. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Cool flowing water, pure and clear, make music for. Dance, flame of fire so bright and strong, and bless us with your warmth and light. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Let us extinguish our chalice flame and say together the word. Extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire. Keep preparing our hearts until the moment of death. Blessed be.
Growing up Catholic, I knew the melody. I said, growing up Catholic, I knew the melody. I was like, even if I don't know, I was like, I know the melody. Figure out the words.
And I knew as soon as she started saying it, it's like I knew the melody. I know. I grew up Catholic. So. Yeah. Because that's a very comfortable. Oh yeah. No, I
What did it take you to get that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, Juanita. Hi, Judy. How are you?
We're doing
I don't know if
okay.
you can hear me or not. It's pretty noisy in here.
Yeah, we
Hey,
can hear
Harry,
you.
do you want to see if you can say hi to?
Hi to who?
Hey, Juanita and Judy, how are you?
Okay, how are you? I know I stopped the muting.
That makes sense. Because you really like relying on really connects to it in order to make it happen.
All right, I don't know. It's
Oh, I agree.
Hello.
It should be good to practice a few acapella ones. You know, some of you really be pulled out.
Hi, Dawn.
Gosh,
Hi, neighbor
I can't do
Tina.
harmony with it because it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't want to get other people off.
That's the problem. If you don't have enough people.
And that's something I started to learn. I didn't experiment with it until later in life, but my mom was always
Yeah.
one to go to mass, and she always sang counter melodies. She was very musically inclined, and you know, and everybody be singing the melody, and my mom would be next to me singing the counter melody. Yeah. And I learned a little bit here with.
Can you get a plush
With it?
Yeah.
determined to do as well in school as all the clever cupcakes and brilliant roll bakery?
Uh-huh.
Ms. Biscotti assigns the class to create something totally original. Could a dash of creativity and a sprinkle of confidence be all she needs?
And I found out talking with Jane, when she used to have a plucker that I have a very good voice, and I can hit the lower ranges, and it projects. And now I go around it. I'm very vocal.
The book is $19. The plush cookie is $22.
I can get a crowd in the arena, 3,000 people. This year, it started, they would follow me, and then it became call and response. I'd yell, and they would respond with the same yell. And it was so cool.
The voice of value.
Yeah, and people will approach me, and it's because.
Then we have.
Bye, folks. I'm tired of this. Just like,
And when I
it's
hear
way
it,
too much.
Well, we're gonna
go out. Sir,
we're gonna go out to.
yeah. So I think
Be there.
And I had a very, what do you call it, unsympathetic course director in middle school that embarrassed me, and it shut me up for several years. And then when I came back, I was even more rusty. It's taken me a long time to actually reclaim that I used to have a voice.
I don't know how my voice was, but I always like singing.
Yeah.
But I never felt comfortable using my voice in front of people. And then I became a school teacher, and you get real used to talking and actually being. And then Jane, when we did the choir here, she really brought me up, and I got comfortable enough now. Okay, it's not working. Let me start the. I know it. Well, let's do it.
Like you really finally start embracing your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of karaoke now, and that's really helped me. And I'm like doing all those Broadway numbers that I used to want to do. Now I'm doing them. You know? And people, anyway, it's really helping me fully reclaim it.
I haven't done karaoke, but I have a hard shower person. Get in the car, get in the shower.
Really well.
Well, acoustics in a shower tend to be very good.
I think the one it also really gets the vocal cords really moist.
But yeah, there's something about voices.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too, for sure. Choral work, acapella choral work. I don't think there's anything more
But
powerful.
even just good voices, like when I used to commute to Pittsburgh, I'd go to the library here at Carnegie Library in Pittsburgh, get books on CD and tape and stuff like that. And they have people who are professional readers. They're really good. And you can get in not only the story, but the voice.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, when I was teaching, I was the one that turned through my school if they wanted announcements, because I enunciated, I was clear.
Yeah.
And I have that.
Yeah, you have a very full resonant.
Right.
Very.
So it's, yeah.
I used to teach acting and directing, but in the acting classes, it's the voice. And when you're really connected to it really, I always say that's like one of the most powerful, because people can, that's why in live theater, the spoken voice.
Yeah.
So anyways.
People become energetically through that.
Right.
That voice.
Yeah.
You know, it's really that's actually the energy connector in theater, you know, and so.
And I'm big into that.
Yeah, I just think.
I never performed, but I love theater.
Yeah.
Dramas and musicals.
I'm sure you have a role or two in you that you should try. Like, I'll support it. In later life, there are roles that people can play that young people can play.
Well, one of
you should be doing some
Jane Balmer.
Jane
Balmer talked to me about it, and I said, as a kid, I never cared for his voice. Even my undergrad degree was in broadcasting, and I did like my voice. But she said, men, as they get older, they develop a timbre. There's a certain change as you age, and I can hear it in my voice. It's sort of that low undertone that's very, and I can be very loud and very shocking, where I can soften it, very comforting. And in life, I work with kids with severe behavior problems, and I work with psychiatry. I talk to people, and I can get acting out people and kids to calm down, just using a calm. In fact, when we met, she said, we ended up, the first date ended up being like a 27-hour date. And we were talking to her real late at night. She said, I'm tired, but just keep talking. I love the sound of your voice.
That's a good thing.
Now she let me.
All you're doing is several solutions, and every time I would offer a solution, I'd get a response back that would be like, well, we're gonna have a new board, we're gonna have a new minister, and we'll just let them take care of this. And so I would get more. And then all of a sudden, something changed. Yeah, so. But, Don's so irritated, if it weren't for the grandkids, he's probably right. Yeah, absolutely. So anyhow, so I'm glad that your committee passed this. Whoever was asked several years ago to be our representative, was to committee. And then it's like, well, then what's the point? It's true. There's no, you've got to connect the dots. Yeah, that's a true story. That really, just flat out. Yeah, and I didn't realize that. I just presumed that there was something going on, but then I got to think about it. Well, it's true. I've never seen anything in the e-news or whatever. Yeah, once asked him to put in. I know. That is, I mean, it's like, he's so busy with all of his other stuff. Right. It's not like he's going to go looking for expertise. Right. What he'll do is part of his service. Sure. Sure. No, that's got to be fixed right away. Because, like you said, what is the point? Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll work. Right.
There's a lot of that. Jill did a good job.
Right. I don't know, like, you know, it's just one of those things.
Well, not afraid of cats. Not very long. And so I was, we both were happy with that. It was just.
COVID really did.
Yeah, COVID did.
And we understand. I understand.
Yeah, and so a lot of what happened was because of COVID, but we're gonna have to figure out ways to.
And we are, and unfortunately, unless it's like get a country or somebody like to keep, like, and then they can start.
Well, we can hope for that, we just don't know.
No,
But I will tell you, it is a problem for us to only have a part-time.
it is.
Even 70%.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Oh, they did, what they did announce is that there's somebody in congregation who coughed up the money so that we can have, I guess, 100%.
Yeah, that was why, I mean, I pushed that.
Yeah, I'm not going to come back to the city, so I didn't take
That's what I, that's just not the way.
parent modes. Yes.
So there's still people hanging around who don't want to minister at all, which was a lot of what the fight was about 70 years ago. Because those were a lot of those Latino Flash people who wanted us to have coffee hour and they didn't want to have a minister or,
Right.
you know, they didn't really care about the building or whatever. So
Right.
anyways, all right. Well, we're gonna go get some lunch before the,
They're
before the
already.
funeral. Her family's coming in to set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you and I need to go eat.
Right.
Yeah, I
Grab a
know.
bite.
Yeah. You wanna go with us? We're probably going over to the Pan Asian Cafe.
I'm so done for a while. I
Well,
got stuff at home.
We'll go,
With
yeah,
things I'd
okay,
love to,
okay.
otherwise, yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'll be back.
Get up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, usually I leave here, stand here, so.
Yeah, in front of you.
All right. Let's go. Just look back, because they have been making snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Lenny, is this the bag you wanted me to take? Yeah. Oh, okay, these are cute.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of kittens that can snuggle up with you.
I really am.
Thanks. This is great, these were adorable. Okay, thanks, dear. I occasionally do this thing where I go, I wonder.